Imagine being handed a dilemma where there are only two possible answers, and both of them will just completely destroy you.
Right, a total lose-lose situation.
Exactly. Welcome to today's deep dive, where we are looking at how to survive the impossible dilemma. We're unpacking a really fascinating speech about how people weaponize rules and, how to escape when you're caught in the crosshairs.
It's such a great topic.
It really is. We've got two sources today for you. A highly relatable story from a summer camp, and then one of the most famous high-stakes traps in historical text, the biblical story of John 8.
Yeah, so let's actually start with that summer camp, because it sets the stage perfectly. It's Hualien, Taiwan, right around the year 2000.
Okay.
It's this program for rural kids. And there's this teenage volunteer cleaning up after lunch. He sees an unclaimed box with an extra chicken leg, assumes nobody wants it, and just, eats it.
Which, technically taking something that isn't yours, even if it's just an extra lunch, is embezzlement, right? It's theft.
Technically, yes.
But I have to ask, because the camp director, who is a pastor, he just lets the kid off the hook. Isn't he just teaching him that he can break the rules and get away with it?
Well, it's a fair question, but what's fascinating here is that the pastor wasn't ignoring the rule. He was playing a much longer game.
How so?
Instead of strictly punishing the kid, he used grace to teach the underlying value of the rule. Because strict punishment usually just creates external compliance out of fear.
Right, you're just scared of getting caught.
Exactly. But grace, in this context, built internal integrity. He focused on the spirit of the law, which is really about protection and growth. And it worked. That volunteer actually internalized the lesson and grew up to be a highly successful corporate manager.
Oh, wow. Okay, let's unpack this. It's like a micro-level character test.
Yeah.
So the lesson isn't about enforcing a rigid law. It's about building integrity. But what happens when people weaponize the law specifically to prevent grace?
Yes, and that brings us straight to John 8.
Right, so Jesus is teaching at the temple. And the religious leaders, the Pharisees, bring forward this woman caught in adultery. They demand to know if she should be stoned according to Mosaic law.
It's just a brilliantly deadly trap.
Wait, but here's where it gets really interesting to me. If she was caught in the act, where is the man?
Right.
It takes two to commit this offense.
Exactly, because she is just a pawn in a malicious setup. The accusers don't care about justice or morality at all. They have engineered this perfectly binary trap.
So how does the trap actually work?
Well, if Jesus says to stone her, following Mosaic law, he breaks Roman law. The Romans strictly forbade Jewish executions at the time, plus he destroys his own teachings of love and mercy, right?
Oh man, so he's trapped on that side.
But if he says to let her go, he blatantly breaks Moses' law, and then they can instantly discredit him as a fraud.
So how do you even survive a trap where both yes and no destroy you?
You refuse the binary. Jesus doesn't answer the question directly at all. Instead, he famously says, "Let him who is without sin cast the first stone."
He completely flips the mechanism of the trap.
He really does. He shifts the spotlight off the woman's broken rule and shines it directly onto the accuser's hidden motives. He forces them to evaluate themselves and, one by one, they just walk away.
He basically short-circuits the trap by attacking the premise itself.
Yeah, and our source actually compares this kind of malice to a classic Eastern fable. A man holds a small bird in his hand and asks a wise monk, "Is this bird dead or alive?"
Oh, right. Meaning, if the monk says alive, the man crushes it.
Yep.
But if he says dead, he just opens his hand and lets it fly away. So the asker has absolutely no interest in the truth.
None at all. They just want you on the record failing. The question itself is designed out of pure malice.
That is just pure bad faith.
It really is. And navigating that requires the kind of lateral thinking we see in the story of King Solomon. Two women claim the same baby. Solomon doesn't just look at the rule book to solve it.
No, he introduces a shocking new variable. He orders the baby cut in half.
Right, which sounds brutal. But he creates a scenario that forces the hidden truth to the surface. The liar maintains her bluff because she doesn't actually care about the baby.
But the true mother's genuine motive, which is love, breaks through, and she begs him to spare the child.
Exactly. In all these cases, the target survives by identifying the intent behind the dilemma rather than just blindly answering the question as it's presented to them.
We've probably all faced a modern version of that bird trap in a meeting.
Oh, for sure.
A coworker asking a really specific question where they don't actually care about the answer. They just want to back you into a corner.
Yeah, so when you're handed an impossible dilemma, don't just stare at the rules. Look at the person asking. Step back and ask yourself what their true motive really is.
I love that. So what does this all mean for you listening? I'll leave you with this final thought to mull over today.
Look at the systems, the rigid policies, and the strict rules in your own workplace or community.
Yeah, really look at them. Are they functioning to actually protect people and foster growth? Or have they simply been weaponized to trap them? Next time you find yourself stuck in a bureaucratic maze, ask yourself who built it and why.